Hello and welcome, Heartrepreneur community. I am Dr. Terri Levine, and you'll see my special guest that I will be chatting with in just a moment. And today is really, really special because you're going to actually get to see me on the spot doing consulting. We have not had any conversation, any emails back and forth, right, Madeline? And today I'm working without a safety net. And the reason I'm doing it, I always like to be very transparent, is number one, even though I may not be coaching or consulting you, you can live vicariously through somebody else who is like you. Number two, you can get a feel for what it is like to have a consultant who helps you and advises you. So my recommendations right before we start, oh, I love the love comments, thank you. Right before we start, number one, when you come on in, do a quick post, give StreamYard permission so I know who's posting, do a comment, tell us who's here so we know, and you can tell us where you're from. Yay, we have our very first person posting. I knew you'd be here. And here comes Ken Attard, yay. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to do a deep dive into Madeline's business. Now, before we do, I want to tell you something very quickly. We had lots of people who responded and said, pick me, pick me. And I actually said, why? And then I took all of those, I sent that to my team, and they put everyone who responded kind of in a fishbowl, and they picked a name. And when they told me who it was, I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I have not had the opportunity to do any direct consulting with Madeline. And so before we dig in, Madeline, tell people a little bit about yourself and your business.
So my name is Madeline Faiella. I live in Hollywood, Florida. I'm a speaker. I am an author, and I am a coach. And for me, getting results for people is what makes me rock and roll. So I call that my selfish generosity. When someone gets it, I feel great. And I will be transparent. My mess is my message. I couldn't get clear, couldn't get focused. And to be honest, I'm still working on my own business, which is why I put my hand up when Terri decided that she would offer this. I have a unique background in that I sang for 23 years globally, and then I was depressed for 2 years, overcame that. I've reinvented many times. And my coaching and my mentoring comes directly from my heart, experience, and all the other coaches I've worked with. Now it is focusing on my business. That was a big change for me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So excited to be with you. All right.
Thank you.
So those of you who are watching and vicariously going to learn and kind of live in this moment through Madeline, first thing that I want you to understand is that I use a 5-question framework. So those of you who are taking notes, you may want to write these down. Those of you who have heard me deliver the framework and may have never seen it in action, you will see that this is truly what I do use. So Madeline, the very first question, and I'll explain to the viewers why, that I always start with is what is working? And I want to explain to the viewers why I ask that. People show up for coaching, consulting, mentoring, and they want to dump all their problems. Oh, let me tell you all the stuff that I need help with, all the stuff that's a challenge. To be in the right frame of mind, to be open, to be curious, and to allow in new concepts and new ideas, we need an open mind. So, Madeline, start us off with some things that actually are working.
Some of the things that are working, oddly enough, started in 2020 when I decided to make my connections stronger, to make more connections, to show up for more people. That is still working because some of them are showing up for me. I'm JVing with some of them, so that's working. The other thing that's working is I'm focusing more. I was shiny object syndrome to the 10th
Ooh,
degree,
perfect.
and focusing more works a lot.
Okay, so let me just ask out of curiosity, anyone who is viewing us, can you relate in particular to shiny object syndrome? So I'm just curious. Most entrepreneurs, in my experience, we have a little bit of ADHD, and it's certainly, Velma called it SOS, which I like that, and relates, which I actually believe, entrepreneurs do have. Robin says, yep, she does also. So as long as we, are willing to know, well, most entrepreneurs kind of like to pay attention to shiny objects. That's kind of why we're entrepreneurs. Regina relates also. All right, so let me ask the second question and explain the second question as well. So I just had Madeline tell us what is working, right? Now I'm going to ask this question, and again, explaining it for our viewers and our listeners. What makes it work? And let me explain why I asked that question. My little quantum physics quick lesson here. It takes 17 seconds of like-minded energy that oscillates at the same frequency to bring in more of those thoughts. So to stay in those 17 seconds, we're now going to ask Madeline, okay, so we know what is working. What makes these things work?
What makes these things work is taking action, making a decision, and first being calm and aligned with myself, because I do believe that everything is energy. So, yes, everything's energy. I align with me, and then I do my best to stay focused.
Perfect. So again, I'm going to ask folks, how about aligning and staying focused? Can anyone relate? Let's see what Velma said. Velma says, yeah, builds in the vibration of what's working. So again, I'm asking you, our viewers who didn't get chosen today and are living vicariously through Madeline. So what did you hear in there? I mean, I certainly heard about action, right? And action and implementation are what make things happen. People can go to the same seminar, they can go to the same workshop, they can hear the same content, and they can walk away and go, yeah, that was nice, la la la. And or they can say, oh, what physical action can I take because of this? That's a reminder question. All right, now we're going to have the fun question that I absolutely love asking Madeline. So now I'm going to hand you the magic wand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I want you to pretend that everything that you want in your life, in your business, in your health, in your relationships, every aspect is absolutely what you desire. And when you tell us about your ideal vision, Madeline, take us deep. I want you to paint it and draw it. I want to be able to see it and hear it and touch it and taste it and smell it. So what's your ideal vision?
My ideal vision is that, number one, I remain healthy. I remain healthy, flexible, have peace of mind, have wherewithal so that I can continue to do things because I love to do things. I also live in a place where I have a backyard and I can plant. I want to plant a little victory garden. And for people who don't know what that is, that's what they called a victory garden way back when, where you planted your own food. I want that. As far as business, and the reason why I want a place that is a little bigger is so that I can hold workshops there and different things that are beneficial to me and to others, and also to my bank account. So the other thing is business. I would love to have 10 high-end, top quality, verified everything clients that I give my all to all the time.
Love how you language that. Thank you. I really love how you language that.
Thank you.
So, by the way, for those watching and listening and observing us, this is a very key concept. Many of us don't actually know what our ideal vision is. And that is why shiny objects come along. Oh, here's a network marketing opportunity. Oh, maybe I could do that. Oh, here you can joint venture, be an affiliate for this. Oh, maybe I can do that. Here's what somebody else is doing in your niche. Oh, maybe I can do that. Here's another seminar and another workshop and networking event. Oh, I'll go to that. And this is why, as entrepreneurs, we bounce around a lot. When you're solid in your ideal vision, you know what is working, you know why it works, and now you have a vision. That is what comes to be. I'll share just very briefly so people have an idea how this works. And Madeline, this will kind of set things up as we go along. Mm-hmm. When I was 15 years old, which is quite a while back, I wrote in my journal something that made no sense at the time. And I used a word that actually made no sense at the time. I said, I want to talk to people all over the world. Now, back then, we didn't have that ability. And I want to make an impact on them and I want to help them. Mm-hmm. And I want to, and believe it or not, this is the word in my journal, I want to coach them. Well, there wasn't even a profession called coaching. I don't know where that came from. Okay. And the other thing that I had in my ideal vision was I wanted to live by the beach. So what's manifested for me? Yes, I work with clients all over the world. I've gotten to work with over 6,000 like amazing people worldwide and speak on stages worldwide. Yes, we have the technology like this to be able to do that now, which we didn't have. And I have 2 homes on the beach. So that is why the ideal vision is so important. If you hold that vision, the shiny objects don't happen as much. And I'm going to say this for Madeline and anyone else who needs to hear it. The human mind cannot distinguish fantasy from reality. And see if anyone relates to this. I don't know if you're like me, Madeline. You watch a movie and a dog or a horse gets shot. Mm. I'm mortified, right? I know you would be. My husband's like, Terri, you know this isn't real, right?
Right.
See, your brain doesn't decipher that. So when you have an ideal vision and you go to bed at night, your brain unconsciously is working on that manifesting. So we got Velma, who's also a movie crier, okay? It's just more evidence of how the human brain works.
Absolutely.
All right. And a movie laugher. Good, Velma. I like that. So let me kind of wrap up a couple things that we're hearing, and then we'll get into the consulting. So we've got Madeline, who is like the rest of us, I'm imagining, and has some shiny object syndrome. Her intention is to be more and more and more focused. She has a lovely ideal vision of where she wants to go, how she wants to be in the world. And the end result was not only helping herself and helping others, it's also serving the world, right? A victory garden serves lots and lots of people. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong. I want everyone to really breathe this in. There's nothing wrong with also serving your own bank account. Because if all of us don't make money at what we do, we can't continue doing it and helping and serving. So I heard one piece that we'll come back to, which is 10 high-end top quality clients that you can give all of you to all the time. We'll come back to that in a minute. So now I'm going to ask you a question, and those of you who are taking notes, write down this question exactly how I ask it, because it is a writer downer with a little bit of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. If I ever use NLP, I always tell you. And this question is, so Madeline, what's not quite right yet? Let me explain this for everyone. What's not quite right, mm-hmm. potential. What's not quite right, and notice the word I added at the end, yet, which opens up possibility thinking. So your turn, what's not quite right yet?
So what's not quite right yet for me personally is remaining at a position where I understand my value. And in business, what's not quite right yet is a steady flow of clients. And I believe I'm not offering enough for people to have the opportunity to say, yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. So Who just said that? Hang on a second. Somebody, Facebook user, heard that many years ago from someone, which I think is me. If that's our Facebook user, I don't know your name because you didn't give permission for StreamYard to use your name. I'm curious who it is. So not offering enough for people to say yes. All right, let me unpack some things I heard and then we'll go forward. Oh, Robert, hi. Good to have you. I know you've heard that before. All right, so let's talk about what we heard. And by the way, those of you who are writing these down, this is every conversation that I do when I am consulting with someone and or interviewing a prospective client family member. So I'm giving you exactly what I use. Okay. How many of you, first of all, are in a position where you don't feel like you're getting the kind of value in terms of dollars and in terms of number of clients that you're putting out in the world? How many of you feel that? Okay, several people feel that. Velma, maybe you can help Robert so he can see how to give permission. Thank you. So I've got people who feel that. How many of you at this point do not have a steady flow of clients? Does anybody want more? So let me talk a little bit about, in my experience, Madeline, why people, and Regina's like, yes, that's me. Thanks, Velma. Oh, let me see who else. Robin is like, yeah, that's me too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to dive into some actual consulting. And by the way, I want to just make a distinction for those watching. I am not a coach. Well, I am. I have 9 certifications. However, what I do is consulting. And that means that I actually give answers, strategies, tools, systems, and processes. In coaching, hey, John, good to have you. In coaching, you would say something like, Madeline, if you knew the answer, what would the answer be, right? And instead of that, as a consultant, we actually give people the answers because we know them and we don't hold back, okay? So that's where we're coming from in terms of consulting, any of you who are curious about that. All right, so what I have found, Madeline, in my experience, is that the reason that many entrepreneurs don't have a steady flow of clients has to do with something that you said earlier. So I'm going to challenge your thinking a little bit. 10 high-end, top-quality clients. In my experience, we need a parade of people who are at different places on the journey, and we need to meet them where they are. In the coaching and consulting profession over the almost, good Lord, 30 years that I've been doing this, I have seen this evolution to people believing, oh, high ticket, high ticket, high ticket. My experience says quite differently. People who are just getting familiar with you, some of you may be meeting Madeline for the first time at this level, and she's going to be able to, only Madeline, to drop in a link so that you can go see what her products and services are or find out more about her, right? Some of you may not be ready to go and invest high ticket with her because you don't know her yet. However, you might be very willing to try a small offering where you basically dip your toe in the water and you can try Madeline on. You can see if you oscillate and resonate with Madeline. Others of you may be able to do a mid-level offering, and then less of you would be able to do a higher offering as you got more familiar with Madeline. So here's the shift for everyone, and particularly for Madeline. Let's stop focusing on 10 high end. Let's focus on meeting people where they are on the journey. So do you have at this point any low or medium offering?
I do. I just wrote a book and it's on Kindle and it will launch on the 25th. Pre-orders are up.
Yay, awesome.
And that's only $7.99.
Perfect. So isn't that, and when that's launched, you'll be sure to tell us about it in the Entrepreneur Group. I know lots of us would want that. So that's a great way for someone at literally no risk to read a book, to hear who you are, what your beliefs are, and to see if they resonate with you. I want everyone to understand that meeting people where they are allows them to dip their toe in the water and try you on without making a huge commitment or a huge investment. If you think about even being here as part of our Heartrepreneur community, if you're not a client family member, you're dipping your toe in the water. You're saying, do I like the group? Do I like Terry's client family members because they're in a mastermind with Terry? Do I like Terry? Am I learning from Terry? Is her conversation with Madeline vicariously helping me? It's all a way with a very minimum, in my case, no investment. Madeline $7.99, which is nothing. A wonderful way of starting the parade. Okay. What about after they've dipped their toe in the water? What is your medium level offer if you have one?
So the book is related to another offer. And that offer is in 3 stages.
Okay.
So that the first offer, of course, is the lowest. And then there's a mid and high. So the book, may I mention the name?
I was just about to say, what's the title? Please, yes, mention the name.
So the book is called, and this is by experience, Master the Power of Self-Confidence, 5 Steps to Inner Growth, Business, and Prosperity.
I'll tell you one of the things I love about the title is that gives us the result.
Yes.
A great book title tells you, as a result of reading this book, this is what you will get. So that is really, really well done.
Thank you.
Now, let's go on from here. So the book to me is your low level. After I read the book, I will encourage you only to give people one thing to do. And I'm talking to everyone. Give people one call to action. And I say this a lot to my client family members, Madeline, a confused mind doesn't buy. So when I'm looking at your offer for your Kindle book, I should know nothing about anything else that you have. Absolutely nothing else. Then when I read the book, I should get one call to action, which is the next rung on the ladder that you want someone to do, which would not be high ticket. It wouldn't be another low ticket. Mm-hmm. It would be a medium. So let me give you an example. When I wrote Create Your Ideal Body years and years and years ago, that was, we literally took that ebook and we gave it away for $1,000, $1,000. I didn't have any buyers, no wonder. $1. And from that book, over a 24-hour period, we sold 5,000.
Wow.
So it's $5,000. And you may be like, well, that's not a ton of money. However, we gave them one call to action after, which was now take our course, Create Your Ideal Body course. I think it was $499. Then we offered them high ticket. At that time, it was coach certification to become a Create Your Ideal Body coach. Every single time is one offer. I'm going to teach by one more example before I open this back up for Madeline. Those of you who are watching my new podcast, this is brand new, which is Modern Coaching Method. These podcasts are 2 to 3 minutes, okay? And I drop in a nugget, I teach you and model what I'm doing, because right after there's one simple call to action, of which we already have a ton of people saying yes. One call to action. Oh my gosh, Velma, tapes. Oh my God, that is an old program, isn't it? All right. So talk to me, Madeline, about what lands, what resonates, and where you are at this point.
Well, you and I must be on some planet, because my next offer is $4.99. I just
love it.
It's a 5-week program. And of course, I give everything I have, but to a certain level, because like you say, you want to be where people are at. And I've learned from experience that you have to make sure they're understanding. Otherwise, they get no result. So this is a program where I meet with the person or persons once a week for 5 weeks. and they have calls to action to do themselves, which we call homework. And at the end of the week, I go over everything and I answer all questions. And they can be in contact with me within reasonable hours. And they also get, if there's an emergency and they feel like their brain's popping out of their head, they can call me within these reasonable hours. So you're getting a lot of support. You're getting one-on-one. You do not feel alone. I am not throwing a bunch of printed material out. I am actually mentoring and allowing you to embody what you're learning at the time and apply that throughout that week. So by the end of 5 weeks, the results are usually that you are more confident through clarity, courage, and commitment. And this can all be applied to any industry, any person, and any type of business that you may have.
All right, so this is good stuff here. So again, I'm coming back to do a little bit of challenging, right? Because that's what I do. So I love that we're going to master the power of self-confidence. I love that, and it's so needed. It's needed in everyone, not just entrepreneurs. We all, as human beings on this
Yes.
earth, right? We all need that. So in the mid-range, and again, I don't know, Velma, if you could help Robert out with Modern Coaching Method podcast, or I'll drop it in later. Thank you. What I want to really express is for everyone, and for Madeline in particular, in mid-level, I don't want you to give people you. And I'm going to explain this. This is a really big mistake that I see being made in the coaching, consulting, therapy, natural health and wellness industries. So if for low ticket of $4.99, if you get me individually once a week, it's not that easy to move somebody up to high ticket because they're already getting you. They already have you. So in my lower level programs, products, and my mid-level, there isn't access to Terri. That is reserved for those 10 people or more, if you choose, that you really want and that you want to give your all to.
Okay.
So I'd like you to look at that model and make it a little bit different.
Okay.
And I also want you to think about this. This is for everyone. It's super important. So breathe this in. Make sure you get it. We very often in this industry are saying the same things over and over again, right? So, I'm talking to Velma, for example, and while I'm talking to Velma, I'm like, oh, Velma, one of the things that I want you to work on or think about is X, Y, Z. And an hour later, I'm talking to Ken and I'm saying something really similar. And then 3 hours later, I'm talking to Regina. I'm like, didn't I say that to someone today? So the best thing that we can do for all of us is to stop thinking of the one-to-one model. And by the way, literally all of the, and I mean all of the 7-figure coaches and consultants that I have known over these 30 years, we all do one-to-many as our primary business. So number one, we're not saying the same thing over and over again. Number two, we're leveraging our time. Number three, this is a very important finding. Masterminds, where we have like-minded people that we're working with in a group, provide synchronicity. And I'll give you a true example of this, Madeline. One of my long-term clients, who most of my other client family members already know who I'm talking about, which is Mia Redrick, who's been with me like almost 20 years now. Mia is running far ahead of the pack. She's been with me for 20 years, so she makes a ton of money. She works, 2 hours a week, and she has a massive impact and following, and her client family members love and adore her, right? So what happens is Mia is using the synchronicity in her groups and in her masterminds, not only to leverage her time, but to truly have people advance faster. So when my clients are listening to me and say, hey, Terri, I listened to what you said about putting this webinar together, and I wanted to let everyone know that when I did that, I made $347,000 last weekend, which is a true comment. So my other members who are newer, maybe they go, oh my gosh. And they start to live vicariously through her success. So what I'd like for you to think of, Andrea is already saying, yes, the mom strategist. Yes, there's so many Mia fans. David, yeah, Mia rocks. She does. She's like one of the best coaches and consultants on the planet. So I'd like you to take the clarity, courage, commitment. By the way, love the 3 words. They resonate. I'm sure they resonate with a lot of people here. And I want you to rework that mid-range where it is one to many and it doesn't have a lot of you. So you could do a once a week quick Q&A. You could use something like I use, Marco Polo channels, and you could answer a couple of questions here and there. Not one-to-one, not your time. And here's why. And this is probably why you're not having the number of people you want as easily as you want them. We don't want to work with a lot of people. And I mean this for all of us. We don't have that kind of time, and time is our most precious commodity. So the handful of people that I work with each year that are my prodigies, that are my long-term clients, that invest in one-to-one with me, they get what she said earlier, like all of me and all of my best stuff. My prodigies get everything I've ever done in almost 30 years and everything I will do. It's just handed to them, okay? I'm not giving that to more than a certain number of people. And I want to also live my life. I want to have time for myself, your garden, my spiritual practice, my connection with family and friends. So I need to be able to do this in a way where I can serve people just coming in, dipping a toe in the water, people moving up in the parade, and a handful of people who are saying, Terri, I am all in and I am committed. Try that on and tell me what resonates and what's coming up for you.
What resonates with me is that all of a sudden that just felt so good. And in my mind, I went, imagine. Absolutely just shifted my thinking and realized that in the midst of all that shiny object syndrome, I've heard too much of that high client, raise your prices, yada, yada. And what I feel in my heart is exactly what you said. Meet people on their level. Some people are only ready for maybe that second step. But I have a question, and may I ask?
So let me relanguage that, and then yes, you may. So
thank you.
My clients probably know exactly what I'm going to say, but I have a question. Is a disqualifier, so we don't use
right. And I have a
question. Yes, now of course you may ask.
And you got me busted.
Go for it.
And I have a question. So, because it's been very sporadic with clients, yes, I would love to do one too many. But as they're random, it's been 1-to-1. And part of me believes that maybe because of what I'm taking from what you're saying is a second step might be a mastermind at that $4.99 price, where you meet once a month.
So let's talk about this. One of the things I love to do, Madeline, is work with people who are open and curious. Like, you're perfect.
Oh, I am so curious. Tell me. I'm like all ears.
I love it. And I love how you're absorbing and open and curious. So what I would recommend is 2 things. One is offering either a charter membership or a beta program, charter or beta, and going to everyone you're connected with. Past clients, current clients, friends, people in different groups that you know, colleagues, every single person you can think of, posting in groups. In this Facebook group, gang, you can do a video introducing yourself, just can't put in links. And she could say, hey, I have this new Kindle book coming out. I'm so excited. Here's what I do. And I'm going to be starting a beta program. If anyone's interested, I'd love to have you. Or I'm taking 5 people into a charter program. Awesome, Robin. I'm really, really glad. So let me just rephrase this. I don't look for enough people to start group coaching. So the first time I did a group was like when no one was doing groups. I experimented with a group roughly 25 years ago called Explode Your Business and Income. And some of my client family members may remember it. I didn't know if I'd get one person or 5 people. I mean, I just had no idea. I was doing it anyway. If one person joined, Terri was going to do this group experience and then record it and use it for her next group. If 7 people joined, that's what I was going to do. And so, miraculously, 25 people joined. If that didn't happen, it would have been fine. Still would have done it. And Regina can speak to this because she's followed this. I'm doing a pilot program or I'm doing a beta program. And then you start contacting us. Hey, Terri, I'm doing this pilot program or beta program. I'm only taking 5 people. Want in? Yes, Robin, I'll explain how that works in a moment. So the way that you do this is you lower the price. So if it's $4.99, maybe make it $2.99 or $3.99. You let people know. The true value of this program, when it's not beta or charter membership, is going to be $499. I'm inviting you for this lower investment, and I'm going to tell you upfront why. I'm going to give you my all. You're going to succeed. You have my word because I have to make you succeed, because in exchange for the price reduction, I need your case study and your testimonial.
Good.
Okay. So I would start marketing this immediately. And let me just answer this, Robin. You can literally do anything in this group. You can drop in a video. You can describe your products, your services. Under the pinned announcements, there's a sample video post, and you can look at mine and you can do one. The only thing you cannot do is post a link, okay? Unless you're on a one-to-one with me like this, and Madeline gets to post a link in here. No one else does at this point. Is that cost a month or a week? I would personally, it's a good question, Robert. I would probably say $4.99 for an 8-week program, or it could be a 6-week program, okay? So that's what I would recommend. Oh, Miss Mia's here. I just mentioned you a minute ago. Love you. And I just told how amazing you are. We are so aligned. Okay. So I would call it a mastermind. I would name the program. And the program, by the way, giving you an extra bonus, is always the name of the result. Okay. So if it's, you're going to scale your business, you're going to get confident, name your program. Immediately, like today, start reaching out to people. You can send me a couple of shekels. I'll take them, Robert, whatever. I'll donate in my charity. Thank you. Whatever. It really is something you can start promoting immediately. And you can talk about it in the group. You can do another post under here, video or whatever, and just say, hey, this is the program I was describing in the group. Anyone want to be a part of it, say me or something like that. And then those people, when they complete that program, they're your audience for high ticket. I'm going to say this loudly to Madeline and to every one of you. So all of you pay attention. Listen here. Stop going right for high ticket. People have to get to, we all know this, know you, like you, and trust you. And therefore, they need education. And I'll share one quick thing that will also help you, Madeline. We have recently found that if people absorb 1 hour of my video content, Robert has his ears on, 1 hour of my video content, they are much more likely to say yes to my high ticket offer.
Yes.
Much more likely. So what you want to do is constantly create value and education like this, where people get to see you, try you on. By the way, I'm modeling something that those of your coaches and consultants can do in your Facebook group, right? Literally doing what it is that you do, okay? And this is really, really an important thing. So I'm recommending a mastermind. I'm recommending, in fact, insisting that you go get your first 5 people and you start the group. And if you go, well, Terri only got 2, good, start the group. It doesn't matter. Thoughts?
Ooh, I think that's fabulous. I mean, I have been, I'm human. So even though I'm going to talk to you about confidence, there are moments, where I fall off the wagon too. And I think that that's something that I'm just going to do because I've been thinking about it and you said it, and really there's no more words. That just makes sense to me.
Beautiful.
To do a mastermind or a beta course or something.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to language a couple of things. I got this so many years ago from my friend Jack Canfield, who I just love and adore. And the words that Jack taught me are up until now. Up until now.
Up until
now, I've been thinking about it, and up until now, and this is again for everyone. So we take that up until now. Vilma says we all get caught dropping a butt from time to time. And here's Ken. He decided and he just started. So you can live vicariously through Ken for a minute, Madeline. And he started with 1. Now he says, okay, a minimum of more. And we've got 3. We're going to go to 10, right? Up until now. So there is a difference for all of us from taking our thinking and putting our thinking into action. And many of us, me included, we get stuck in our head. And the only reason that we live in that nation of procrasta, right, is our head.
I love that.
I got that from Joel Bauer, my good friend.
Oh, God, he's great. I love it.
Awesome. So, all right, we're going to stop thinking. This is for everyone. We're going to take action. 2-minute actions make all the difference. That's awesome, David. And a couple of things that Madeline said that I want to speak to Madeline and all of you. Heartrepreneur, the word, actually stands for 3 things: transparency, integrity, and authenticity. Okay. I appreciate you, Madeline, for being all of those things. You've showed up all of those things. And here is what I offer to all of you. None of us are perfect because we're human and we're just beautifully imperfect, which makes us as perfect as we can be, which is perfect. So do I sometimes, say but and forget to say up until now? Do I sometimes drop something on the floor and go, oh my gosh, or whatever it might be? All of us are human. And I appreciate that you said, sometimes I may not have the confidence. Of course, we're human. And what your clients are going to love about you, and all of you try this on because I got goosebumps, is how authentic you are. I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes too. Because me, like you, have this in common, this thing called human beingness. Does that make sense?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Beautiful. So now let me give you the 5th question. And the 5th question, for those of you taking notes, is, and I'll explain the question before I won't explain it until after Madeline answers. I think it'll be better.
Okay.
So what tools and resources do you feel you need right in this moment to become an implementer of what we've discussed?
Oh, that's easy. Technology gremlins live in my home. I love it. It's taken me, I can't tell you how many months to try to figure out how to link something to something else. God forbid someone shouldn't get a thank you. It's really all about the tech right now and the ability to hire someone to help me with the things that I am weaker at.
Okay. So let's talk about this. I'm going to just see people's comments here. We are human beingness, the tools and the resources. And Robert says, does that make sense? Yeah, but, he got a but. Thank you, Robert. And I always tell people, all my client family members know this, call me out on it. I'm human and I say the word when I don't intend to. Okay. Here's the solution for all of us. Everything nowadays, you can either get an intern from a college or a junior college to help you at no cost. You go to a college or a junior college. I have several interns right now, and you say, let me get in touch with the person in charge of your videography program. I'd like to offer one student the opportunity to be an intern in my business in exchange for the college credits they will get and the free labor that you will get. What I will do is train them, teach them. They will have real on-the-job experience and a recommendation and reference from me, which definitely helps them in the marketplace. I have an intern in marketing as well. So that's one way to get free help. For those of you who are newer in business going, I don't have that kind of money. The second thing that you can do is barter. So when I first started, many of you know my first virtual assistant and still a very close friend of mine, Pat Zickerfoos. So Pat hired me and was one of my, I think, first 5 client family members. And she came to me and she said, I cannot make the entire investment. Like literally, I'm just starting. And I said, well, I'm just starting also, and I need a virtual assistant. So I'm not going to ask you to make any investment. If you'll give me 10 hours a week, I'll help you grow your virtual assistant business. And then over the course of, I think, 2 months, she hired me because she was able to. And she became my full-time virtual assistant for 17 years.
Wow.
There's always a way. And bartering is a great way. Fiverr is another way because it's inexpensive. Elance is another way, it can be inexpensive. So whatever is our, and the label that I don't use is weakness, whatever isn't our greatest strength or our zone of genius or brilliance.
I hear you.
I know. We literally just turn over. Okay. So 2 words that I also want to share are delegate and dump. I delegate whatever my brain doesn't have capacity for or isn't easy, effortless, joyful, and fun. And I dump things that aren't easy, effortless, joyful, and fun. One other thing, and this was important, and it's the word try. This is for you, Madeline, and for everyone else listening. You're not trying to figure things out.
Busted.
With a lot of love, with a lot of love.
I know.
So try, it's like if you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant, you're not going to stand up and go, well, in this moment, I'm sort of trying to either be pregnant or not pregnant. We are.
Right.
Okay. So just a reminder.
Thank you.
The reason, gang, that I'm so nitpicky, I guess, on words is words are a very small reflection of what is going on inside our minds. So it's very important. And Regina says, not trying, working on. Let me first go back to Robert. Robert, when you call college and you make this offer, or call a university or a junior college, you just offer to provide credit. So my photography student, they had never done an internship. And I said, I'd pick one student, whoever you think would be the best student, or I can interview students. And then instead of that student going to class, that student gives me those hours and is getting real life on the job experience instead of sitting in a classroom or, on Zoom or whatever it is. So that's how it works. I love blowing your mind, Robert. That's very cool. Velma, we get to find the right people to support us in what isn't our zone of genius. Regina, not trying, working on. Oh, I was thinking of Yoda. Thank you, Velma. I was like, wait a minute, Yoda quote in there. So Madeline, I'm going to ask you 1 week from today, which is next Tuesday, to come back into the group and to report your results. Now, gang, consulting without action, without accountability, is just more shelf help. Okay. You go, yeah, that was great. Boom, you're on to the next thing. Madeline, you were chosen. You appeared here for the right reason. Now, would you commit to a week from today, either by video, by post, however you want, sharing what you've actually done with the group?
Absolutely. And I'd like to state this, that I did call colleges and universities here in South Florida, and they all wanted to be paid and generously. But I will try it again.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I will.
I didn't have to say it. I just pointed at you and you got it.
I will call. I am calling. I will be talking to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So let me tell you a couple of ways to do this. Do you have an alma mater or alma maters that you went to school at?
Yes.
It's the best way to start. Okay.
Okay.
So I have a couple of students right now, one from the University of Pittsburgh, and that's where I got one of my degrees, one from Ithaca College, actually two from Ithaca College, where I got another degree. Last summer, I had one from my husband's college, Carnegie Mellon, and they don't have to be local. So look at schools that have more of a modern approach, right? And there will be schools willing to do this. And particularly, just so you know and others know, particularly during the pandemic, which, we still have, a lot of schools are still virtual, and a lot of schools are still giving people a choice, virtual or not virtual. And this is something and how I position it and pitch it to the schools. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Great. So now I'm going to ask you to sum us up with the biggest takeaway that you have from today.
The biggest takeaway that I have from today is I always tap people and bust them for their language, and I need to be looking in the mirror.
Whoa, I got goosebumps from that one. That's great advice for all of us, right? And we have to show up for all of us, and we have to authentically live and breathe whatever it is that we teach. Let me give you a really quick example. I'm writing an article. This is on my mind. Robin, I'm really glad you came today too. I was writing an article about how people choose their niche in coaching, and I find this fascinating. I saw a person recently, and she said, I'm going to coach people on how to lose weight. And I thought, oh, that's a good niche. And I went and looked at her Facebook profile, and the woman is clearly obese. Okay, she's not just overweight, she's obese. And my suggestion would be to coach people on what you authentically have gotten a result in. Okay, does that make sense? Oh, Andrea, that's a brilliant idea. Lots of high schools have programs, and they do have hours. Oh, see, this is exactly my point in Masterminds, right, Madeline? Exactly my point in Masterminds. It's not just one of us being brilliant. It's everyone bringing their brilliance together. Regina, that person in the mirror is the one making all the choices and creating the awesomeness, and we teach and learn at the same time. My last point is whatever any of us need to learn, any of us, we need to teach. When I have to teach something, it forces me to learn it. So right now, I was asked to teach Spanish to a friend of mine's daughter, and I speak Spanish, and I'm fairly fluent. And I decided, okay, I'll take this on. Well, because I'm doing that, I never taught anyone Spanish. I am literally improving my Spanish every single day. So
love it.
Whatever we need to learn, we teach. Madeline, wow, huge virtual hugs for now.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Post links, Madeline, and a week from today, we look forward to your update.
So may I post the link to my book?
100%. You and only you in this string can post whatever you like. And gang, as soon as we're off, I'm going to actually pin this as an announcement in the Heartrepreneur group. So you can come and you can take a look, and you can see Madeline's link. I don't know who that's from because our Facebook.
I don't know, but I'll receive it.
Absolutely.
And I'll receive it.
And you'll receive it. What a quick learner. I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank you for being a part of the community. And I also want to encourage you to invite like-minded folks, because we're here as a community and as a mastermind. Madeline, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And
Terri, I'm so grateful. Thank you, love.
I'm so glad you got chosen. Much love. Bye for now.